Hello and welcome back to hansonmath.com instructional videos. Today's video regards multiplying matrices. In this example, we're going to multiply matrix A times matrix B to find the product of the two. But first, it will be helpful to figure out the dimensions or the order. So first we have matrix A, which is 3 rows by 3 columns, and we're going to multiply to matrix B. Matrix B has order or dimensions of 3 by 2. So you have to check that the columns by rows here matches, which it does. So that means that the resultant matrix will be of size 3 by 2. That helps me plan ahead so I can lay out my product matrix as having 3 rows, row 1, row 2, and row 3, and 2 columns, column 1 and column 2. Now, how matrix multiplication works is you take a row of the first matrix, or matrix A in this case, times a column of the second matrix, or matrix B. So you multiply the like corresponding elements in this row with this column. Okay, the size being 3 elements and 3 elements assures that everything is multiplied correctly. That's why you have to check this in the first place. Okay, here we go. Row 1 times column 1. We have the first element in this row is 0. The first element in this column is 2. 0 times 2 is 0. Plus, now we have to do the middle element of the row times the middle element of the column. -1 times 4 is -4. And now we have the third and final element of this row times the third and final element of this column. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, now I'm going to work on multiplying row 1 times column 2. The product of row 1 times column 2 is this area here. So now I have 0 times -1 is 0, plus middle and middle, -1 times -5 is +5, and 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, that exhausts row 1. So now we're going to work on row 2. Row 2 would be these 3 elements, and we're going to multiply by column 1, which is these 3. 6 times 2 is 12, plus middle times middle, 0 times 4 is 0, plus the third element of this row times the third element of this column. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, now we're still working on row 2, but now we have to switch over to column 2, like so. Multiply like elements. First times first. 6 times 1 is -6, plus middle, 0 times -5 is 0, plus 3 times 6 is 18. That exhausts row 2. So now we'll work on row 3. So we've got row 3 here, and we're going to start with row 3 times column 1. So we're working on this spot. Row 3 times column 1. Here we go. 7 times 2 is 14, plus -1 times 4 is -4, plus the last element times the last. 8 times 1 is 8. That brings us to our final piece of the puzzle here, which is row 3 times column 2. 7 times -1 is -7, plus -1 times -5 is 5, plus 8 times 6 is 48. So if I did all the arithmetic correctly, the only thing that's left to do is just sum everything up, and I will have my product matrix, which is of order 3 by 2. So we've got 0 plus -4 plus 2 is -2. We have 0 plus 5 plus 12 is 17. 12, 0, and 3 is 15. -6, 0 plus 18 is 12. 14 plus -4 plus 8 is 18. And -7 plus 5 plus 48 is 46. So there you have it. We multiplied matrix A, which was a 3 by 3, times matrix B, which is a 3 by 2. And we have a product matrix, which is a 3 by 2. And there you have it. Okay, coming up, we have one more example. Our second and final example is working on a little bit of a larger situation here, I suppose you could say, which is where we have a new matrix A, and we can write out its dimensions or order. This is a 3 by 3. We have a new matrix B, which is also a 3 by 3. And perhaps not surprisingly, the result will still be a 3 by 3. So in this case, we have 3 rows, row 1, row 2, row 3, and we're going to have 3 columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay, off we go. We're going to start with everything in row 1 times everything in column 1, and we're going to multiply like elements. So we have 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 times 8 is 40, plus -4 times -4 is 16. Okay, that was row 1 times column 1. Now we have to move on to row 1 times column 2. So I'm going to highlight column 2, and now we will multiply. 7 times -2 is -14, plus 5 times 1 is 5, plus -4 times 2 is -8. Now we'll move on to, we're still on row 1, but we have to multiply now to column 3. So we've got 7 times 3 is 21, plus 5 times 4 is 20, plus -4 times -8 is 32. That exhausts row 1, so now we need to move on to row 2. So we're going to start by working on row 2, and we're going to multiply by the column, starting with column 1. -2 times 2 is -4, plus 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 times -4 is -4. Okay, that did it for column 1. Now we need to move on to column 2. Okay, row 2 times column 2. -2 times -2 is 4, plus 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, that did it for column 2. Now we're going to move on to column 3. -2 times 3 is -6, plus 5 in the middle times 4 in the middle is 20, plus 1 times -8 is -8. Okay, looking good. That exhausted row 2. So we will finally work on row 3. So let me grab row 3, and we'll start by multiplying that times column 1 on matrix B. 10 times 2 is 20, plus -4 times 8 is -32, plus -7 times -4 is 28. Okay, now we need to move on to column 2, which is here. Multiply like elements. 10 times -2 is -20, plus middle to middle, -4 times 1 is -4, plus -7 times 2 is -14. Okay, we are in the home stretch. Finally, I will highlight column 3. So we're finishing this up with row 3 times column 3. That will give us our last entry. We've got 10 times 3, which is 30, plus -4 times 4, -16, plus -7 times -8 is +56. Assuming all the arithmetic was done correctly, we are ready to finish this out, finish the job, and write out the answer, which is still a 3 by 3. This is the result of multiplying matrix A times matrix B. Let's sum everything up and get our final elements here. We've got 14 plus 40 plus 16, which should be 70. -14 plus 5 plus -8 should be -17. And 21 plus 20 plus 32 should be 73. Now, row 2, -4 plus 40 plus -4 should be 32. 4 plus 5 plus 2 is 11. -6 plus 20 plus -8 should be 6. And row 3, we've got 20, -32, and 28 is 16. -20 plus -4 plus -14 is -38. And 30 plus a -16 plus 56 is 70. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this helps. This can be tricky for a lot of students. This is a video on multiplying matrices. I hope this helps. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.